Yes, people. So we're going to talk about this one quick test to prove if you lack football IQ to play higher. Now, I can't lie to you. If you are ages 16, you're going to struggle. Yeah, you gotta. If you're age 16 and you haven't got certain principles in terms of football IQ and cognitive development on a certain level, you're gonna struggle to be able to play higher and for longer. You know, we see Poch just come out and talk about Mudryk to say that he has to understand the game better. That is one of the reasons why Mudryk is struggling at Chelsea. He's got ability to beat a man in terms of his technical ability, and he's got extreme pace, dribbling speed is phenomenal. But all that without IQ just makes a player like him look like a mismatch. And thinking, and everyone's saying, how is he playing ahead of so and so? Even how did he even go to Chelsea for that amount? And this is where, you know, it's very proven that if he doesn't get this football IQ sorted out in the next year or so, I'll probably say next season, you probably see a better version of him, because he's going to be under a good manager, as Poch is, to be able to teach him the game. I'll say next season you probably see a better version than Mudryk, because he's going to start to understand the game better under a good manager that Poch is. So when we're looking at football intelligence now and football technical ability, it varies in terms of the value. So for example, if you're a player that values your game on just technical and physical strength, I see those as additions. Technical obviously will be a +4, and then physicality player will be a +2. Or anything physical, whether it's your speed, whether it's your agility, those are +2. Anything to do with dribbling, passing, receiving the ball, first touch, for example, all that sort of stuff, those are like +4s. Those are all good. But when you're looking at football IQ, these are multiples of ×2, sometimes ×4, ×6. For example, Kevin De Bruyne is not the fastest player, may not be the most strongest player or have the best agility, but his game, his brain is already in next week's match. That's how far ahead he is when he plays. You know, you look at players like him, players like Busquets, you heard me speak about, Thierry Henry, the list goes on, of the game's intelligent, smart players. So one of the tests that I always look at when I am doing one-to-ones with a client, and even when I'm speaking to clubs about a player, you know, one of the things I look at is how quickly can this player identify the strengths and weaknesses in the opposing team that they're playing whilst in match play. Because you're going to have your homework, don't get it wrong, you're going to have your homework, but you may not have the homework to the degree. That's why obviously we know that the squad list gets released at a certain time, but the managers are able to then adjust and say, you know what, I think guys, they may do this, they may do that. You don't know. So if you are unable to tactically be aware of what the other team's formation and system and strategies that they're using, and recognize patterns of play, these four, then that's a sign that you may not be able to play higher. I'm just going to say it is. If you are unable to recognize the team's formation, the system and strategies and patterns of play within, I say, 15 to 10 minutes, then you're in trouble. Messi, we see him on the pitch and many players scanning, especially Messi. This guy is not walking the pitch because he's tired. He's scanning and looking at the patterns, and because he's played the game at such a high level and been in it for a long time, he's able to just know what's going on, and then he just relays that information to different teammates, who then is able to pass it on to the whole team, and they understand where's the next vocal point of attack. And that's how, and if Messi is doing this in the first 10 minutes, and these players are doing it in the first 10 minutes, then the average player, which I've seen playing semi-professional football, they usually takes 20 to sometimes 30 minutes to digest what the team's doing. Oh my goodness, they're playing 4 at the back, and the centre back is stepping in here, and the striker's coming in here in a half space, and when he's doing that, the centre mid is then bombing on. So really, he's setting it back to the centre back, and The center mid is just running as an overload. We're getting hit all the time. Well, big man, they've done this 5 times, and it's taking you now 25 minutes for you to relay that. That's a player who won't be able to play at the highest level, and that's just facts. And I'm one to talk because I've gone to Spain and not being able to play at the highest level because of the lack of IQ that I had at the time when I went over there. So for you as a player, if you want to be able to play higher, my ethos to you will be to, number one, is get materials that's going to help you to improve your IQ, i.e. studying formations. You know, there's books on Soccer Tutor, coaches' voices, there's YouTube, there's LinkedIn where you can message coaches and be like, even if you message an under 18 coach or whatever, say, listen, just wanted to find out if I can, you know, get some bit of advice from yourself. I'm trying to learn X, Y, and Z. Just wanted to know what's your take on it. Should I say, how can I implement this in my game? Blah blah blah. I'm telling you, you may get one of these coaches that may blank you, but then I'm telling you, there's a few that will respond back to you and be like, you know what, this is what you got to do, young man. You got to do this, and then you just get that from 5 different people, and you can build a whole database to say, okay, this is what they're looking for. This is what I got to do. Do you understand? Or you can also book with myself and a consultation time, and I'm happy to break down, like I'm doing with tons of players every week, your game and how to get better. All right, so these are the things that you got to do. Let's move on.